Hey everyone, so I've been thinking about this a lot lately. This is basically a video on my opinion about the LGBT community. And I'm just basically gonna just tell you how I was introduced into the community and, just start from there and then go on. Okay, so I went to a Catholic school for 12 years, and you can imagine that being in a Catholic school, you wouldn't know a lot about LGBT. I didn't even know that gays or lesbians existed until I was in 6th grade. Like, I'd heard the word before, but I didn't necessarily know what it meant. And when I did know what it meant, I didn't think that was like a real thing. Because I think I first heard the word in like 3rd grade or something. I was just like, okay, I don't know what that means. And people were like, oh, it means a guy likes a guy, and I was like, that's weird. I'm like, that's not real. What are you talking about? But basically, so when I was in 6th grade, this is when I was getting back into my obsession with Sailor Moon, which is the anime that I've loved since I was like 2 or 3. And if any of you know Sailor Moon, you know that only the first 4 seasons were aired in America. And the 5th season was not. The 5th season was aired other places, but not America. One, because the license ran out for Deke or the other place, I don't remember, ran out for them to air the episodes. And also because it just had so much stuff in it that America, not necessarily America, but people felt shouldn't be exposed to American children. Because in Japan, Sailor Moon was meant to be a teenager, young adult show, because it involved so much adult-like themes in it. But they adapted this teenager adult-like anime to a children's anime in America, so they couldn't have all that stuff in it. Basically, in the 5th season, we had the Starlights, who were actually females in their senshi alien forms, but when they transformed back into humans, civilian form, they were males. So we couldn't have that because, that shows cross-dressing and like transgender and whatnot to American children, and they shouldn't know about this. It shouldn't even be accepted or what. Yeah, so. And then there was the issue of Haruka Michiru. Michiru has been my favorite character since I was about 4. So when I was getting back into the series, I was watching the animes in Japanese as opposed to English. And as you know, again, if you're a Sailor Moon fan, you know that in the English adaptation of the show, Haruka Michiru, or Amara and Michelle, are portrayed as cousins. But in reality, in the mangas and the animes, and even sometimes the musicals, they are a lesbian couple. And at first, when I found that out, I was like, well, that's a little weird, but, like, the most judgy I got with this topic was that, well, that's weird. I wasn't saying, that's wrong, that shouldn't be like that, you're no longer my favorite character because you're a lesbian. No, I was just like, it's a little weird. But I got over it, and, I learned to accept it. And, but it took me a little while, to get over the fact that my favorite character was a lesbian, but, it's not like I was disrespecting people in any way. It's just, I thought it was weird, because I'd never been exposed to that. And as a person that was never exposed to LGBT, it's gonna be weird, it's life. Either, because I don't think anyone really accepts it right away. You have to warm up to the idea. Either you learn about it and then you immediately start judging them and go against them and whatnot, or you learn about it, think it's weird, keep learning about it, and then eventually learn to accept it. Oh, and then there's the thing with the Catholics. So, I went to a Catholic school, as I said before, for 12 years, and as I was getting older, people in my class weren't very tolerant towards gay people and lesbians, and at this point, I only knew about gays and lesbians. I'm gonna go on to bis and pans later, but, people weren't really, in my class, weren't really accepting of gays and lesbians, and in my state, which is Arizona, I think in 7th grade, there was a law that was being, if a person was hurt and was in like a very serious state and they were in the hospital, their lover could not see them, because I think this is how hospitals work, is they have to be your spouse or family, so their lover who they cannot get married to would not be able to see them if, they were dying or whatnot. And that's when I really realized that judging gays is really wrong, because it's just love, just in a different form, and they're just different, and it's not their fault they're that way, and a lot of people in my school were like, hey, we should, well, because they can't vote, but they were like really for this law of not letting gays get married. They were really for it, but they didn't really understand it very well. There's this one guy in my class that was like, hey, we should vote yes on this prop, because then, like, gay people wouldn't be out in the street, like, making out and stuff, and, like, and my teacher was just like, that's not how the law works. They're just not allowed to get married. That's not going to stop them from making out in the street, but, like, not necessarily, like, I'm not saying that they would, like, do that, it's just that we had a very narrow understanding of gay people at this time. But, that's when I really started, going for the LGBT community, as opposed to standing outside of it and just going, okay, it exists, whatever. I didn't really think that it was going to affect me too much. But, entering high school, a public high school, mind you, where at my old school, my Catholic school, even dating was rare. There are only a few couples that were actually going out at my school. But, like, in high school, it's like, you walk down the hallway, you cannot avoid, couples making out in the hallway. It's just impossible unless you can, like, walk through walls or fly, and that was weird to me, seeing couples making out in the hallway, because that didn't happen at my school before. So that was a big thing. And then, like, the other big thing was, oh my gosh, people here are actually gay and lesbians. And my first exposure to gay people was, I had this friend, and she was dating this guy, but they broke up because her boyfriend discovered that he was gay, but they're still friends to this day, so it didn't affect them too much, and I'm proud of her for accepting him and them still being friends. They're best friends, so. And she later discovered she was bi, so I guess it was for the best, But this guy was my first exposure to the actuality of LGBT, and at first I really wasn't friends with him. I knew he existed, I knew his name, and I only knew him because he was dating my friend. And I kind of judged him, but not like in a bad way, I was just like, oh, that's that guy that was dating Brit. Oh yeah, he's gay. That's a little strange, but that's okay, it's okay to be strange. I'm strange. I get judged for being strange. It's all good. And actually, I ended up dating this guy for 4 months, and you're like, what? Because, he's gay. He knows he's gay. I know he's gay. Why would you date him for 4 months? It wasn't like an actual relationship, but in a way it was. he was my gay boyfriend and I was his straight girlfriend. We weren't meant to work, and it's all good. It's okay. You don't have to understand. No one understands.